Storyfriends, Storyfriends. It's Storyfriends. Hi, Storyfriends. How are we today? I'm Dylan. I'll be your host for this episode of Storyfriends. This is a place for friends of all ages to gather. And what we're going to do is show you a number of short segments about some of our favorite things. We might meet some new people and possibly even learn something. So without further ado, thank you for being here. We're going to get moving right along to our first segment, which is something that we call Songs to Wash Your Hands To. Welcome back, Story Friends. It's time for a new segment, and this is one that we are calling Favorite Thing Story. And this is a time where I will take one of my favorite things and tell you the story behind it. This is a small deer antler. Many years ago, a friend and I took a trip to a place called Midland, Michigan. And we went to a beautiful woodland park. Now, Midland is about here if you're looking at the Michigan map. It was about this time of year. It was spring, but the flowers had yet to sprout and blossom, and everything was still this kind of earthy gray and yellow and brown and orange. And we took a walk, and the trees were bare. And we took a walk in this woodland park along a beautiful river, through some woods, and later on, we found ourselves emerging from this woodland, and before us was this vast field. And in the middle of this field was a stand of pines, which was pretty striking. In all of this brown landscape, in this flat field with woods way over there, in the middle of the field was a stand of pines. Maybe 20 trees standing so tall and so beautiful. And of course, what do? You go check out that stand of pines, which we did. Now, as we approached, we noticed that those branches and those prickly needles started a few feet off the ground, maybe even higher in a few places, which was just perfect for us to duck under and go inside this little structure of pine trees, which we did, and everything got kind of quiet. Everything was muffled because we were inside all these trees, but there was a little bit of light. And there before us, on a floor of pine needles, beneath a big tree, was this beautiful little antler. Now, I'm not sure about a couple things here. I'm not sure, one, that I should have taken it, but I did. And I'm attempting to honor it now by sharing this beautiful object with all of you. And the second thing is, I'm not so sure what this was doing there. I do have a couple thoughts, though. I think I have heard maybe that young male deer, they get a feeling kind of like a tooth has to fall out. You know, when you get that feeling like a tooth has to fall out? And what they do, but they feel that about their antlers. And they need to knock them off so they can grow big, beautiful new antlers. And so what they do, and this is wild, they actually bang their heads against trees until these things just pop off. And so we think maybe that's what happened with this antler, that some young deer was getting ready to move on to the next phase of their life and grow those big, beautiful antlers. And so it got under that private little quiet stand of pines and knocked this sucker off there. But of course, as with anything that you read or hear on the internet, fact check this. Perhaps you know more about why it is this antler was sitting on the ground under this stand of pines on a beautiful bed of pine needles. If you do, let us know. Or ask an elder, or ask Wikipedia. Find out. Is that right? Is that right? Is that why they do that? Not sure, but hope you enjoyed this segment. Favorite thing story. Take a little minute right out of your day, have a little bit of tea for two for one. Take a little minute right out of your day. Have a little bit of tea for two for one. When does this expire? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? If you go back far enough, we are all related. Did you know that? Baby humans have 100 more bones than adults. Did you know that? Classical music is nice. Did you know that? I love you. Did you know that? Checking on the neighbors, it's a neighbor check. Neighbor check. Neighbor check.
Hey there, story friends. This is Neighbor Dan, and today I'm going to show you how to make a cool crackle texture on your pottery using a torch and sodium silicate. What's that all about? Here, I'll show you. Alright, so first I got to get my stuff prepped while my hands are clean. This is the sodium silicate. I'm going to put it into this old yogurt container, and I've got a little foam brush for applying it later. Also, I want to make sure that before my hands are all dirty, I've got myself my torch ready to roll. Alright, we smack down the clay so it doesn't get unstuck, and now I'm going to speed up time so you can watch me throw faster than this boring speed. Alright, now that I have this shaped the way I want it, it's time to add my sodium silicate. I'm going to put a thin layer on the outside, and even though it's transparent, it's not water. When this dries out, it becomes brittle, and brittle things crack when you stretch them. Now we're going to use a torch to dry out the very outer layer of this piece, so that when we stretch it, it'll make a cool texture. Now it's time to use the very important tool of a sponge on a stick. I'm going to get it a little bit wet. I'm going to go on the inside of this piece and see if you can notice when it starts to change. You should see the bottom right now where I'm putting pressure, starting to bow out just a little bit. And now a little bit higher. Pretty cool. See how it looks like tree bark? That's because tree bark can't stretch, and as the tree gets wider, it has to crack the same way the sodium silicate did. Thanks for hanging out in my studio with me. Back to you, Dylan.
Checking on the neighbors, it's a neighbor check. Neighbor check. Neighbor check. When does this expire? Cheat-a check, 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 cheat-a check. She's a little dog sitting on the thing by the fire. It's a cheat-a check, cheat-a check, cheat-a check, cheat-a check, cheat-a check. How's she doing? Cheat-a check, doing great. Cheat-a check, cheat-a check. Well, that's it for this edition of Story Friends. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave you with just one more tune, and in the spirit of Story Friends, we're going to make it up as we go. Tune in next time. There will be a next time at some point. And thanks for all the love. Be safe out there. Wasting so much time together, doing stuff inside of this empty room. The camera is right there and the microphone listening to. I showed you my antler and checked in with Dan and did some other things, but I haven't recorded them yet, cause I'm doing this backwards. It's crazy cause I actually taped this one first. Wild times, but it could be so much worse if we didn't have each other in this crazy time.